Hi guys, it's Babs with Listen to Your Inner You. Thank you for watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe below. And I have a donation button link below, and my website is listentoyourinneryou.com. You can book sessions on there and they will show up in your own time zone. So let's get started. Today I just wanted to make a short video about inspired action. Babs, what is inspired action? Well, I learned the phrase inspired action when I started manifesting. And when we manifest deliberately or non-deliberately, sometimes we get that urge to do something, right? Reach out to that person, click a like button on one of their posts, something. We feel like we have to do it. And it's okay. Just do it, because no matter what happens afterwards, if you really feel like you should be doing it, even if you're changing core beliefs or you're manifesting, or you don't want to, or you were told to not do it, not reach out to the person, which I usually advise against. But if you have that urge to do it, I say do it, because inspired action is usually part of the path to get to your end result. If your end result is beliefs, the core beliefs that you're changing, there's still an end result, or if it's a manifestation, I would just do it. Listen to that gut. If your gut is really, really telling you to do whatever it is it's telling you to do, I would say do it. Inspired action usually has a purpose. And I had it often happen, especially during changing core beliefs, where I had to do something and it didn't have a good outcome. And that was part of it, because I got so upset that I decided to change that behavior that was coming through that action, or change something about me. Because when you're changing core beliefs, it's all about changing tons of habits and beliefs, and they come with certain stages. You go through certain stages. You're constantly shifting, at least every week. More than that, I would say you constantly shift a lot more. I would say every day, all day long. But noticeably, when you're changing core beliefs, it's week to week that you're seeing a difference. And sometimes things get worse because you did or said something that affected your environment, and then you're upset. But if you did that and it was inspired action because you felt you had to do it, it was part of it, because either you're going to get a good result or a result you don't like. But either way, it's going to lead you down a path that you were supposed to go by working through whatever you're working through. And this applies to manifestations too. So if your manifestation is a person or a job or whatever it is, doesn't matter what you're manifesting. If you have this urge to do something, I would say do it. If you want to think about it for a little bit, I think that's an even better idea. Sometimes when I get this inspired action, it's a thought that won't let go. And it's not a negative thought. It's usually something I want to do. This is about action, not something different. This is just about saying something to someone or doing something for someone or for yourself. It's an action, right? So you want to follow it. But what I do when I have these inspired action thoughts is I think about it for a little bit. I think about it for at least a couple hours, maybe a day or two. And if it's still in my mind, I'm like, I have to do this. If it's nagging at me, that nagging feeling of I just have to do it, then I do it, because it won't go away and it's supposed to lead me somewhere. I don't always know where, because sometimes I get no results or unwanted results. But even if there's no or unwanted results from that inspired action that you took, it is leading you to somewhere you just don't see it yet. So trust yourself, trust your gut. I always try to listen to my gut. Whenever I don't listen, I don't get anywhere good. And inspired action, even if it's another person, you're manifesting that person. And usually I suggest don't reach out to them first, because I let the manifestations come to me for a good reason. But even if you're reaching out to them and you're getting a bad result from that person, it is leading you to somewhere. This is the path. And when you're manifesting anything, you always go the wrong direction first, because that's old energy, right? That's the law of polarity kicking in. Once you shift, so the first part, I've said this before, the first part is you're starting manifesting or starting changing a story or starting changing a belief, and then it kicks in for a little bit, and then you see a shift. Usually there's a noticeable visible shift, especially with people. They suddenly block you or stop talking to you, or they say something mean and you're like, what the fuck is happening? But when things go the opposite direction, it is good. You're doing it right. This is a reminder you're doing it right when it goes the other direction. When things look like they're going the opposite direction of what you actually want, it means you have shifted into old energy. You have shifted into the part that is the law of polarity to get all that old crap out. That is the opposite. It's all the opposite that will from now on happen, right? And then when you're done with getting rid of all the old energy and working through the law of polarity part, that's when the manifestation or the belief or the story kick in, right? That's just the process. That's how it works. I have a whole video about the process. But inspired action is big when you're changing anything because it is leading you to somewhere, even if it looks like the opposite is happening. If the opposite of what you want is happening, great. Pat yourself on the shoulder, cry, be upset about it, accept it, and keep doing the end result. If it's a belief, you stick to the belief. If it's a story, you stick to the story. If it's a manifestation, you stick to the end result feeling with the manifestation, however you do focus work, right? But inspired action is a big part. It doesn't happen very often for me. It is pretty rare where I feel like I really have to do it. I had a couple of times in half a year of working through core beliefs, twice. I only had it a couple of times, and it was often about setting boundaries or freaking out, and then something happens. It's more common with working through core beliefs to get inspired action because you're changing so many habits with them that you constantly shift and you have to learn something new and something has to happen for you to change your ways. That's how things work. That's how it's always been. Things usually get worse before they get better, right? You've heard that. Or something has to happen before you get your fucking shit together. Someone will have told you that too. But inspired action can also happen when you manifest a person or something else. I usually say don't reach out to the person first. I generally let my manifestations come to me. I try to do that all the time. But sometimes I have that inspired action to do something, and if nothing happens, I'm like, okay, well, at least I did it, and I listened to my gut. So when I get that urge to do something, I think about it for at least a couple of hours, and if the thought keeps nagging me, it's not just one thought and I do it, right? Inspired action is something that keeps nagging at you, good, bad, whatever you're supposed to do. Your subconscious is telling you to do it, and you're like, okay, I'll think about it for a couple of hours. And if it keeps nagging at you for, let's say, 4 or 5 hours, or think about it for a day if you have that timing, do it. Think about it, and if it keeps nagging that you should really do it, then do it. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. You want to go with the flow. Trust your subconscious that you're supposed to be doing this. Whatever is happening is supposed to happen. This is a rule. Whatever is happening is supposed to happen, even if it's bad. But the bad things lead you to a point where then you get so tired of all these bad things all the time that you finally change whatever needs to be changed. And this happens in manifesting, belief work, and story changing. So if you get that nagging feeling, think about it for a couple hours. That's inspired action. If it keeps telling you, do it, then do it. But don't just do it with one thought. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. No, give it some thought. There's no hurry. There's never any hurry. As soon as you're feeling rushed or hurried, take a step back. Especially when you're working through the core beliefs, this is what you're learning, to learn patience. There's never ever a hurry to make a decision for anything. If there is, you may not even want to do that. Just step away from it. And inspired action is the same way. Think about it for a little bit. Once the thought comes, if it comes a couple more times and it's really nagging, it's urging you to do it, do it. I hope this helped. Have a great day.